Think I'm live. Now I'm live. What's up, guys? Peace and cheers. Mark, Flying Health Coach, coming at you. Happy insert day whenever you do end up seeing this or watching this video. Tonight, I wanted to keep it pretty brief. I just wanted to go over 3 or 4 tips or tricks, more so tips that have worked really well for me in my aviation career thus far. And hopefully, if you're just getting into the career field, or if you've been in it for a little bit and you just want some different tips on how to be successful that you maybe haven't thought about in the past. That's what I'm going to go over tonight. So hope it's beneficial, as always. And if / when you watch this, if you have any other tips or tricks that have worked for you, please feel free to like and then comment below. Leave a comment of some stuff that's worked well for you, or maybe stuff that hasn't worked well for you, or stuff that you wish you would have done. To go along with the video, and also just, to help people, right? To help young pilots, or again, even seasoned pilots, right? We can always learn something from each other. So before further ado, let's get into some tips. So 4 of them. Okay. So here's my bad little whiteboard with really bad drawings. Okay. There we go. Take notes with a really bad note card. Ask for help. Bad question mark. Work if you can in the industry or at your flight school. And then lastly, volunteer. Now let's go through each one of them individually as to why they're important. Okay. So taking notes, be pretty straightforward, right? I can't tell you how many times where I would be teaching a class, or doing one-on-one instructing, and I would be discussing things like acronyms or systems or airspace or weather, whatever have you, right? And a lot of times I notice students not taking notes. And I always wondered, like, well, I'm sitting here as a private pilot, instrument pilot. Like I damn near wrote down every single thing my instructor said, which I don't recommend doing that. I don't recommend trying to write down every last little thing someone tells you, because you can't write that fast. You're gonna get carpal tunnel. It's not gonna work out well. But you want to write down at least the main concepts, and especially write down the stuff that you're confused on, right? One thing I always did back in the day when it came to taking notes is, if I was really confused on a subject and we didn't have more time to cover it that day or whatever have you, I at least put a check mark by it or highlight it so I could remember to go back and review that subject the next time, or do some additional research into it, right? But it always disturbed me so much when I see people not taking notes. Doesn't make sense not to, right? It's aviation. There's so many acronyms. There's so much stuff that you have to learn. You have to take notes, okay? So work on practicing taking good effective note taking. If you don't know how to take effective notes, YouTube, right? Use Google, look up effective note-taking strategies or skills. It's going to help you immensely when it comes to aviation, right? But above all, more than anything, if you don't look up effective note-taking, just take notes. It should be pretty obvious thing, right? It shouldn't be like a kind of like, holy crap, Mark, I never thought about that. I'm sure you do take notes, or I'm sure you're thinking about it. If you're not, start taking notes, right? It's going to help you immensely, especially, again, like I said, guys, on stuff that you're struggling with, right? If you're struggling with the electrical system or hydraulics or airspace or aerodynamics, whatever, right? Just make a note of it. Just take a note. Yeah, I didn't really understand ground effect, or this is what he said ground effect meant, but I don't get it. I'll highlight it, check it, whatever. I'll come back to it later. Because then when you do that brain dump on paper, right, you're not going to stress yourself out the next day or that night thinking like, what was I going to do, right? Because you wrote it down, right? It's not in here anymore. It's on paper, so you don't have to think about it. You're creating some additional space to learn new things, right? So take notes. Number 2, next thing, one of the biggest things, right, that I wish I would have done more of was ask for help, right? Now, when I say I wish I would have done more of it, is because throughout my entire life, I've usually done everything by myself. But this past year has really taught me that you have to ask for help. If you're struggling in a subject, right? If you're struggling with a maneuver, if you're struggling understanding, a lot of people get stumped with like instrument stuff, like IFR procedures or approach procedures, whatever have you, right? If you're struggling with something, ask for help. Don't have your instructor ask you, do you understand this? And you sit there and nod, when in reality, you're like, yeah, I understand it, but you don't understand it, right? If you don't get something, ask for help. Ask your instructor, or go ask a different instructor. Ask a friend that's gone through the training. Whatever, doesn't matter, but ask. One of the biggest reasons why I have if I've struggled in some area, it's not because you're not smart. It's not because I'm not smart. It's because everyone's wired differently. Sometimes you pick up on certain subjects easier than others. For me, I got really good at understanding aerodynamics and airspace and weather, but I struggled with systems. But one thing I never did was ask, right? And when I got into doing my current position, when I went for my ATP, when systems came up, I really struggled. But what I did, I finally swallowed my pride and I just asked for help. And I cannot tell you how much of a difference that made when I had someone just talk to me about it a little bit differently than what other people have done. And it finally really helped click for me. So if you're struggling, ask. If you can't do maneuver effectively, ask for help. Just do it. I promise you, it's going to help you so much. And it's gonna teach that mental muscle that it's okay to ask. People want to help you. You don't have to do it alone. Okay. So ask. Tip 2, do it. Number 3, work if you can at your flight school. I know it's a really bad plane, but you get my drift. But if you have the ability, be a CSR at your flight school. Be a line service tech, be a line tech, right? If you can't work at your flight school, see if you can't go work at like a major airport. If you can't maybe do some TSA stuff, right? If you can't be a ramp agent, whatever, right? But do something that gets you in the industry, even if it's part-time, right? I get a lot of people that are going to school, it could be your second or third career. They're going back to school for aviation. Maybe you already have a full-time job. That's okay. I know I did. So for me, and maybe for you, you don't have the ability to necessarily pick up like another part-time job or quit your current job to work, full-time as a CSR, a line tech, because Lord knows you don't make a lot of money. But if you have the ability to do that, right, I highly recommend that you get a job doing those things. Why? A, networking. B, you're going to meet a lot of people. You're going to hear a lot of side conversations going on where you can learn something new, spark a new question in your mind, right? But you're also going to learn kind of the inner workings or the behind the scenes things at your flight school, especially if you want to work there as a CFI someday or fly out of there. Getting the chance to learn how the operation goes is really very invaluable. So if you can work in the industry or work at your flight school, it's going to help you a lot with networking, understanding the behind the scenes operations, and it's going to make you a better pilot in general, right? It's going to help improve your decision-making abilities. Last thing, but not least, no particular order here of importance, volunteer. Why? A, it's volunteering. It looks wonderful on a resume, right? When you start to apply for jobs down the road, whether it's 135, 121, doesn't matter. You're going to get those HR questions. Tell me about yourself. What do you do on your free time? If you could talk about volunteering, that is a huge green light for a lot of employers, right? So, and not just for employers, but it's also something where you can give back to the community. It's going to make you feel good on the inside, knowing that you're utilizing your time to give back to a great cause, right? I loved volunteering at the Air Expo every year at Flying Cloud. I got to do security. It was a lot of fun, met a lot of cool people. And obviously it's a great resume builder, but also just like working at your flight school, networking, right? It is a great opportunity for you to network and meet people and get a different side of aviation, right? It makes you more well-rounded as a person. Cannot tell you how important networking is, right? It is so, so, so important for you to meet people in your industry because you never know when you're going to come across them again. You never do, right? You don't know. Maybe you helped somebody at at an air show or something like that, and they turned out to be a captain somewhere. You don't know that. Maybe they own their own plane and they need someone to fly with them. Who knows what the reason is, right? Doesn't matter. But networking is so, so crucial when it comes to like future success and just learning more, right? And meeting more people, getting the chance to help more people. So volunteering, another big one, right? So those are my 4 tips. Okay, so take notes. Again, doesn't matter if they're perfect notes, just take notes. Just write stuff down. It's going to help you remember stuff, especially acronyms, right? You have to write that stuff down. So take notes, highlight stuff you were confused on, put a check by it so you can come back to the next day. It's going to free up some brain space, right? But just make sure you take notes. Whether they're perfect or not, just take them. Okay, ask for help. Number 2, big one, right? Make sure if you don't get something, ask. For the love of God, ask for help. It's going to save you so much time down the road if you've been trying to figure it out by yourself and you just can't, just ask, right? If you can, work in your industry, work at your flight school, if you have the ability to do so, right? You're going to meet a lot of people, learn a lot new things, learn the backside of your operations, especially if you want to work there as a flight instructor down the road, or maybe fly out of there in the 135 corporate world. But gaining that experience with the company and getting all the background knowledge, it's going to help you immensely. Last but not least, volunteer. Okay. So volunteering also is invaluable, right? Giving back to the community, giving back to a great cause, networking, right? And also it's a great resume builder. So those are 4 tips that I found to be very beneficial for me. I didn't really get a chance to work at my flight school when I was a full-time health coach. I did after the fact, obviously, but yeah, these 4 things really helped me out a lot. And again, if when you watch this, if there's other things, again, this is just 4. I know there's a lot of tips out there, right? So if there's other things that have come across that have worked well for you that you'd like to share, please comment below what the tip is or trick is that you found it beneficial for you that you think might help other people and other pilots too. So anyways, guys, hope it's helpful. Peace and cheers as always. We'll talk to you soon.